Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Your Daily DM. This is episode 13. I'm Debbie, and with me, as always, is my co host, Mahwish. And we're here today to talk to you about public speaking. Public speaking is one of those things that it turns out 75 to 77% of the population is afraid of. I think we all kind of know that. It induces a lot of anxiety. And so today we wanted to talk about the elements that we believe make a good speech, things that we've done to survive having to do public speaking, tips and tricks that have worked for us, and we'll see where it takes us. Mawish, take it away. This was your topic. You mentioned a couple of episodes ago that you want to eventually go into public speaking. So that's where the inspiration for this episode came from.
Yeah, I can't believe you remembered it, but yes,
Of course
it is part of a long-term goal for me to be a public speaker, perhaps a motivational speaker. By no means I am at that stage today, but that is the dream to get to it. And, I've already started the journey and the goals to be able to get to that eventually. But it's very interesting. You said, what is it, 75 to 77%?
Yeah, of the population. And that's the population. That's a lot of people.
And I wonder, like, the rest of the 20-some% are probably like, I shouldn't say, I'm afraid, I'm good with it. So I think the way to see it is most of us are afraid of public speaking, I would say, right?
Yeah, it induces anxiety for sure.
Yeah. And I can so relate to it because anytime, no matter if I'm comfortable with the topic, I know it, and, whatever the case is, yeah, it's a natural reaction. It's a natural human reaction to be nervous and anxious. And why do you think that's the case? I have my own personal opinion, but why do you think that's the case, that people get anxious?
Oh, yeah. It's because we are afraid to be judged and
Exactly. Judging, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that comes back to our physiological makeup. That's actually part of how we were built as humans. Hold on, let me read this. It says it triggers fight or flight response. The whole notion of public speaking triggers fight or flight response, causing symptoms like a racing heartbeat, sweaty palms, and shaking. Why it happens evolutionarily, I can't say that word, evolutionarily, being singled out by a group was dangerous. And then the brain often fails to differentiate between a high stress social situation and physical threat. So it actually feels like a physical threat to have to get in front of people and give them a speech.
Yeah, because of what you said, fear of being judged. But honestly, most of the people are probably doing something else when you're speaking, or they're thinking about their day, right? It's probably a few percentage of the overall population that's actually judging you, to be very honest. And who cares if they're judging you? Do you really care? I mean, think about it. I know people feel like they're being judged, and I also get this adrenaline rush. To start, there has to be some like flight or fight response, and that's the adrenaline rush to get me going. But once you get going,
it does go away. Yeah,
it does go away. You're good. You're like, yeah, I got it. The way I used to have a fear of public speaking, but now that I put myself in these situations, who cares if somebody judges me? So what?
I think it's interesting you say that, because they say in order to get over the fear, you have to, of course, expose yourself to the situation over and over again. And then the other thing you mentioned, which I think is very important, is shifting mindset around the situation. You're telling yourself that people aren't judging and they're probably doing other things anyway. So you're minimizing the amount of the threat that your body is perceiving, which is important. That's right. But then, and I've done similar mental exercises, not assuming people weren't listening, but really shifting my focus to how can I make sure I communicate what I want to and really relate this to the people. So I focus more on them, is what I'm saying, from a receiving perspective. And I try to stop thinking that they can even see me.
Right.
I'm like, you can't even see me. Yeah.
It all depends on what works for you. So the Mahwish formula is I talk to myself before, like 30 seconds, you got this, whatever it is that works for you, you got to get that formula in for you. And then it's like this 10-second, oh shoot, oh my God. And then once you start, you just go on, and then all the fear, the anxiety when you're talking just disappears, like you were saying. Now, in the middle of your dialogue, if you think that you're getting anxious, there's tips and tricks that I apply to give myself a little bit of breathing room, because I tend to think that I talk very fast, or at least my mind thinks that I'm talking very fast to get over my message. But yeah, I think this is a great topic. It's relatable. A lot of people go through this every day, whether it's your professional or your personal life. There's some element of public speaking that you got to do.
So, what would you say the aspects are of a good, effective speech or presentation? I'm just going to say presentation, because when you say speech, that's almost like you're standing up addressing the nation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, minus the PowerPoints and things like that, like, of an effective presentation, what would you say are the aspects that you think? Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a different version of what effectiveness means for them. But for me, first and foremost, you need to know who you're talking to. So your audience. That's very key, because that's how you prepare yourself on what message, what is it that I want to provide to this audience. That to me is number one. And you have to mentally prepare yourself. Okay, who's if it's a meeting, who's attending it? If it's outside of work, who are you addressing this message or this presentation to? Secondly, I always start with a connection point, and it doesn't work in all cases. So you want to be able to connect to your audience. Either you start with something that they can relate to, because the first few minutes are the most important time frame for what you want to get across. So if you don't capture the audience in the first 2 minutes, for somebody like me who has very little attention span, you've lost me. Seriously. And yes, I'm an engineer by degree, but if you get into the technical details, like, you have literally lost me. So you have to keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it energetic. I always lose focus when the person who's talking to me has this monotone voice.
Oh yeah, that's tough.
So keep it, have a little bit of what would you call it? Pitch, some movement, right? Some energy. I mean, I'm not expecting, cheerleading type of energy, but I'm expecting a little bit of enthusiasm, passion, emotion in your dialogue, because that's what attracts people to you. Mm-hmm. And be crisp. Don't go on forever, because now I'm judging you. Right?
Now you are. Now
I am. I'm like, okay, why is this person just rambling on? I'm sorry, that's human nature, right? Like, oh my God, do I have to listen to this? Like, can't you just get your point across? So keep it crisp, keep it clear. And I think during pressure, people feel that they have to be able to answer every single question. Mm-hmm. Not really. You don't have to know everything. The way you can approach it, if you don't know anything, is, it's a good thought. Let me follow up. There are ways to approach it if you feel like you don't know the answer. It's important to maintain trust and credibility in whatever message you're giving, whoever you're talking to.
Yeah.
And I think that's that vulnerability that you have to be able to show so you can connect with the audience. So let me pause, because I know I've said a lot.
Well, I think it's also make sure that you, from time to time, pull the audience in. And don't be afraid to have fun with it, in the middle of it. Of course, judging who your audience is, you can edit the type of fun that you're having. The best presenters, they are not super polished, actually. They're not. They're not the people that have the perfect hand gestures and the perfect walking back and forth on the stage at the TED Talk. They're the more engaged kind of funny, really working through the whole story to get to the point at the end. They just bring you on a journey with them,
right,
instead of talking at them. Sometimes it can feel, when people are presenting in situations at work, that you're being talked at. And they'll say, oh, feel free to interrupt me anytime, but yeah, good luck getting any word in edgewise in those cases. So it's not true. It's something people say, but they don't actually actively do. So I feel like all of those things play together to help make a very effective presentation.
I see it in some, and it doesn't apply in all cases, but in certain cases, you're selling something to the person, right? And it's the art of storytelling. It's bringing somebody along on a journey, acknowledging if you're speaking about, let's just say, mental health or whatever, you gotta be able to provide your experiences too, to a certain degree, to connect with the audience. It can't be robotic, because then, because if it's very automated, then the person that's receiving this message cannot relate to you.
Yeah.
So it's not about being perfect.
It's not.
It's about
connecting.
Exactly. It's not, it's connection. It's the way you connect with people, you relate with people. So in your mind, Debbie, I will go back to people being afraid, right? Of public speaking. What have been your experiences where you had this oh no moments, and how did you overcome it, and what were some of the lessons learned out of it?
I have always hated it, absolutely hated it. And what's really awesome about my response to that is I turn red like crazy. As soon as I get this adrenaline rush about having to get up in front of people, I turn red. Now, here's a really strange thing. The only time that this is the case is if I am center of attention. I used to sing for 30 years in front of thousands of people, but I wasn't the only person on the stage. And I used to feel that the microphone was some kind of protection, and I used to feel safe behind it. So even though people could specifically hear me, I wasn't the only person there. And I truly felt like it was like a security blanket almost, in a way. And I felt totally comfortable in that situation, not nervous, had great time, no problem. But on those occasions where people were like, we want you to do this solo, or we want you to get in front of all these people, I would turn red. Not with the singing so much, but with speaking. And I could not stop myself from like shaking. So over time, I ended up learning that if I positioned my body in certain positions, it would automatically force a more relaxed feeling because of the way I was standing.
Oh, and interesting.
Yeah. But I think part of that training is because when you sing, there's a right and wrong way to actually stand to get the most out of your voice. And so I was used to putting myself in a particular position to get the most out of my voice. I didn't consciously apply that, but I do remember specifically, I had been on a business trip to Europe. It was 17 days straight. This was probably like 20 years ago. It was a long time ago. And I came back and I had been so acclimated to the pace of Europe, which is much slower than California.
Yeah.
And I had to go present to a bunch of directors and VPs and stuff at the company I worked for. Normally, that would make me so nervous. I had to walk from one building, go down across the street to get to the other building to go present. And I was still on that European chill out thing. I got there and I'm like, hands in my pockets and my jacket. And I'm like, yeah, blah, blah. And it was the first time I felt so relaxed. And I thought,
yeah,
what just happened? Everybody was like nodding and they're like, yeah, okay, great. You know, it was one of the first time I had like a good experience. So from that time forward, if I can, my preference is to have some type of jacket on that I can put my hands in. I talk with my hands a lot. For anybody that's seen this video or these videos, my hands are always in them. But there's something about me taking this physical stance of I'm relaxed that really helps. And of course, you have to be prepared with your content. And it also helps to understand that if you're presenting, you're the expert in the room for the most part. Anyway, that's what I've done.
Although in a lot of things, I'm not the expert in the room and I just wing it.
Yeah, that'll have to happen every now and then, but that's to be expected as you're moving through your career. You have to think on your feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, don't lie. Again, back to your other point.
No, don't
if
lie.
I don't know, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that builds trust. So
yeah.
Which you need with an audience. Yeah.
Exactly. I also talk with my hands. I have hands sometimes all over and I don't even realize it, right? I'm sure you've seen it like everywhere. People like that know me know that I have.
Yeah. It's fine. I think it's good, but until you look like frantic.
Yeah. So, you don't want to look.
You don't want to look frantic.
Exactly. But one of the other elements that I want to cover is, don't get me wrong, I am nervous inside. I am literally nervous inside, even during my presentation. But when I ask people, hey, did I sound nervous? And the reason why I'm saying that, it's always no. And that's because the message is that you may feel all the emotions inside, but for the most part, it doesn't come across.
It does not.
That way, what you're feeling inside. All you can do is try to calm yourself down, and it comes with experience. It comes with just putting yourself out there. It comes with consistency. But you can never be prepared for public speaking 100%. There's always going to be uncertainty. There are always going to be these questions that will be asked, which will put you off, like, what do I say to that?
Yeah.
And that's okay. The idea is it's okay. The best part is when you're done.
Of course.
When you are done. And sometimes we get messages, hey, you did very well. And you thought you did horrible and you sounded bad. Whatever you felt was reflected to the audience. But that's the best part, when you get done and then you get the feedback.
Yeah.
I think that to me is what drives me.
I think on that note, if you can not read whatever it is that you're trying to present, but if you have to read it, because sometimes you do, just say, hey, I got to look at my notes. Be open, because I've seen it time and time again. People are trying to pretend like they're not reading, and it's so clear that they're reading. Yeah. And the feedback I've gotten after meetings, like what you're mentioning, is you were the only one that didn't seem like they were reading. That's not saying I did a good job. That's just saying I'm the only one that looked like I wasn't reading, and I was the only one that seemed like I was genuine as a result. And I don't think that those people aren't being genuine. They're just nervous and they don't want to forget what they have to say, just like the rest of us. But it's just the way it comes off is like that. But what are your tips that you've done besides just thinking that no one's paying attention?
First and foremost, I had to overcome the idea that everybody's judging me. That was a big change for me. And I had to overcome the idea, and if somebody is judging me, which they will do, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter anymore, right? You get to a point where you're okay with people judging you, because even if the way you're walking, people will judge you. The way you dress, people will judge you. So they're going to judge you no matter what. Might as well, if you think, you're okay with it, okay. They may think I'm not, the most polished speaker, but it doesn't matter. It's not about perfection, right? So that's number one. Number two is, if and when I get nervous, which I do, I will put in a sentence, I've said a lot. Let me just pause for a moment to allow you the opportunity to ask questions. That kind of helps me catch my breath. That's number 2. So
I
when you
have
see
heard
me
you.
doing that,
Yeah. I've heard that many
yeah.
times. Okay.
Yeah, because that's like this. Okay, Mahwish, you got to stop because you're just going on and on. So that's that. Number 3 is I'm taking every experience, every opportunity as an opportunity to grow. So it's very hard for me. This part is very hard for me. I will look at myself if it's being recorded. If it's not being, and before, remember when we started this podcast, I would refuse to look at myself, right? I think I told you, like, I can't look at myself. Now I have evolved where I look at myself and I hear myself.
Good.
So that helps me understand what areas do I need to improve upon.
That's great. That's really good.
It's not perfect. Trust me.
Oh, but
I have a hard time.
Everyone has a hard time. No one likes their voice on back when we had answering machines, which don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say part of this is one of the best ways to figure out what you need to edit is record yourself and watch it. And it's painful.
It is.
It's initially
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But you have to, right?
And it also teaches you, though, to start to go easy and be kind with yourself. Because.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten to that part.
You haven't gotten to that part?
No.
Well, you used to tell me, and this is way back years ago, you're like, did I make sense? Because I don't even know what I say when I start talking.
Now
you used to say that, but you don't do that.
Some parts I do hear myself,
Yeah.
but for the most part, if I'm super nervous,
yeah.
I don't hear myself. Mm-hmm. That's still the case, but it's getting better. And I was going to say something that the other opportunities I'm exploring, and I haven't had a chance to, but I plan to, is I've seen commercials for speaking.
Yeah. Like Toastmasters and stuff like that.
Yeah, something like that. So I'm still looking into it because sometimes I do use certain phrases in the corporate world you could definitely get away from. So I'm going to do that. And the other opportunity is just I plan to explore where I can speak at like external events.
And practice. Yeah.
And practice, sink or swim.
Well, you just held a charity event. Did you speak in front of? Did you speak?
I did.
You didn't speak?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay, so you held a charity
event. It was not
event.
planned. It was not planned.
So you probably didn't have a chance to get nervous.
The night before, my co-host said, "Yeah, why don't you speak?" I said, "Okay." And then in the morning, it was chaotic because I had to prepare everything. I didn't have a chance to think through what I want to say, but I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to say. I didn't practice what I had to say, but I just spoke. It's recorded. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I will eventually.
And if our audience is curious, what was the charity?
Oh, mental health. We had about 30 women in the room, and it was an event for them to celebrate the fact that this is their time. They don't have any outside connection. They're just spinning for themselves.
Their mental health.
Getting all of the responsibilities and everything that's going on in their world away from them for the 45 minutes to an hour. It's to help them connect with themselves.
That's great.
To incorporate fitness and health in their everyday life. Yeah, I think it went well. We also got some swag from Lululemon, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So that helped market the event. And then whatever proceeds we collected, it will go to one of the multiple charities.
That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, are there any other thoughts you have on public speaking in general? I think the message here is really everyone goes through, or at least most people go through the anxiety, and there are ways to reset to get through it. Make sure you connect with your audience. Anything else?
Smile goes a long way. That's part of the connection. You have to find what works for you. There's no simple answer. It's just you have to understand what works for you, and you get better over time. You may not see it, but people see it, and you will improve over time. And once you overcome that fear, it goes better overall.
All right. Well, should we wrap it up?
Yes, let's wrap it up. I think we've already provided you a lot of context, so we won't repeat it again. But let us know if you have any issues with public speaking. Maybe we can provide some suggestions. We've learned over the years how to work with the anxiety, the fear, the nervousness. So do reach out if you want any help. This is for you. Again, be yourself, be authentic, and find what works for you and just practice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll come back with another exciting episode next month, and hopefully we will all see you soon. Same channel with a different topic.
Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.